Welcome back to our channel, Rare Coins All World, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins. If you've ever been curious about the value of your old pennies, you're in for a treat today. In this video, we're going to explore the United States 1-cent coin from 1974 with a special focus on the mint mark, and how it could possibly be worth a small fortune. This may just be one of those coins you've overlooked in your collection or even found in your spare change. But hold on to your seats, what we're about to reveal might surprise you. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this 1-cent coin from 1974 is worth far more than just its face value. Let's jump in. Before we talk about its value, let's first take a trip back in time to 1974. The 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny, has been a staple of American currency since 1793. By 1974, the U.S. had already gone through various redesigns, with the most prominent being the Lincoln Memorial design that was introduced in 1959. But 1974 is a year that holds particular significance in the world of coin collecting. It was a year that marked a period of transition for the U.S. Mint, as the country was grappling with inflation, economic changes, and global events. While the penny itself was still being struck in large numbers, one of the most important factors that collectors look at today is the mint mark and how it impacts the rarity and value of the coin. You see, the mint mark tells you which U.S. mint facility produced the coin. In 1974, there were 3 mint marks you could find on coins: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. But here's where things get interesting. Certain coins from specific mints or with certain errors are much rarer and much more valuable than others. Now, let's take a closer look at the 1974 1-cent coin itself. The design of the coin hasn't changed much since 1959. On the obverse, we see the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by artist Victor David Brenner. On the reverse side, we find the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. It's a design that has stood the test of time and remains a beloved symbol of American history. But here's where it gets interesting. While the 1974 1-cent coin was struck in large numbers, the mint mark plays a huge role in determining its rarity and value. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint were produced in large quantities and don't carry a mint mark, while coins from the Denver and San Francisco mints were also produced in sizable amounts, but with slight variations in quality and production methods. Now, even though these coins are common, there are certain 1974 pennies that are far rarer than others. If you happen to find a 1974 penny with a unique feature or minting error, such as a double die, this can substantially increase its value in the eyes of collectors. So, why is this particular penny from 1974 so valuable? Well, the answer lies in the potential for rare minting errors that could dramatically increase its worth. Let's look at one of the most notable errors for the 1974 penny, the 1974 double die obverse. This is a type of error where the coin's design is struck twice, creating a doubling effect on the inscriptions on the obverse side of the coin. For the 1974 1-cent, the double die obverse is highly sought after by collectors because it's a clear sign of an error during the minting process. The doubling is especially noticeable on the word Liberty and the date, 1974, making it easy to spot. If you happen to find one of these error coins, you're in luck. Another key factor that could affect the value of a 1974 penny is its condition. Coins that are in excellent or uncirculated condition can be worth much more than those that are heavily worn or damaged. If you've got a 1974 penny that looks almost brand new, then you might be holding onto something special. Now, let's talk about the real reason you're here: the value of the 1974 1-cent coin. In general, most 1974 pennies from the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints are worth only a few cents above their face value, especially if they've been circulated. However, as we mentioned before, it's the rare errors, mint marks, and pristine condition that truly set certain coins apart from the rest. For example, a 1974 double die obverse penny in good condition can sell for several $100s, possibly even more if it's in uncirculated condition. The rarer the error, the more valuable the coin becomes, and, while the standard 1974 penny might not be worth much, coins that have exceptional features, like unique mint marks or rare errors, can fetch impressively high prices. And if you've got the ultimate find, a flawless, rare 1974 double-die obverse penny, you could be looking at a staggering value that reaches into the thousands of dollars. Now, we know you've been waiting for this moment, so here it is, a pristine, rare 1974 1-cent coin, with the right mint mark, error, and condition, can be worth $40,000. Yes, that's right, $40,000 for a single penny. It's a mind-blowing amount for a coin that most people would never give a second thought to. So, next time you find a 1974 penny in your change, take a close look. You might just have a hidden treasure in your pocket. That's all for today's deep dive into the value of the United States 1-cent coin from 1974. We hope you've enjoyed this video and that it's given you a new perspective on your coin collection. If you happen to come across a 1974 penny in your change, make sure to check the mint mark, look for any errors, and assess its condition carefully. Who knows, it might just be worth a small fortune. Today's video is for you. We're about to dive into a fascinating topic, the United States 1-cent coin from 1982, with a special focus on its mint mark and what makes it such a valuable find. Now, you may think that a coin as small and seemingly insignificant as the humble penny is worth, well, just a penny. But as any serious collector knows, there's far more to a coin's value than its face value. Some pennies, especially those minted in 1982, could be worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. Stick with us until the end of this video because we'll reveal exactly why the 1982 1-cent coin is a must-know for anyone serious about coin collecting. You might just have one of these hidden treasures without even realizing it. Let's set the stage by looking at the year 1982 in the United States. It was a pivotal year for the 1-cent coin. Up until 1982, pennies were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, rising copper prices were causing problems for the U.S. Mint, and it was becoming too expensive to continue minting pennies with such a high copper content. As a result, in 1982, the Mint decided to change the composition of the penny. Coins struck before mid-1982 were made primarily from copper, while coins struck after mid-1982 were made of a copper-plated zinc core. This change was significant in the world of coin collecting because it meant that there are two different types of 1982 pennies, copper and zinc, and they each have different values based on their composition, condition, and any special features, but that's just the start. The 1982 penny, in particular, has a mint mark that can tell you a lot about the coin's rarity and potential value. For example, a penny struck at the Philadelphia Mint will have no mint mark, while those produced at the Denver Mint will be marked with a D, and those from the San Francisco Mint will have an S mint mark. So, what makes the 1982 1-cent coin so interesting to collectors? First and foremost, it's the composition change that occurred mid-year. Between January and June of 1982, pennies were made from the traditional copper mixture, and after July, they switched to a zinc core with a copper plating. This creates two distinct types of 1982 pennies, copper 1982 pennies, 95% copper, 5% zinc. These are the first half of the year and are rarer today, particularly in pristine condition. These coins are heavier than the zinc pennies, and they have a reddish, coppery appearance. Zinc 1982 pennies, 97.5% zinc, 2.5% copper plating. These coins are lighter and have a duller, more silvery appearance. They were struck from July onward and are more common in circulation today. The change in composition made it a year of transition for the U.S. Mint, and many collectors are particularly focused on identifying the copper versions of the 1982 penny, especially if they are in uncirculated condition. But there's more. Let's talk about the importance of the mint mark and how it can add value to a 1982 penny. As we mentioned, the mint mark is key when it comes to understanding the potential value of a 1982 penny. Each mint mark, whether it's D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mint mark for Philadelphia, plays a crucial role in determining the rarity of a coin. While pennies from the Philadelphia Mint are typically the most common, those with a Denver D or San Francisco S mint mark can be rarer, depending on the specific year and the coin's condition. But let's not stop there. What makes this penny from 1982 even more valuable are error coins, those that feature unique imperfections in the minting process. These are the kinds of coins that collectors go crazy for and are often worth far more than their face value. Let's take a closer look at some of these rare variants and errors. The 1982 penny is a special year for minting errors, which is why it's so sought after by collectors. Some of the most notable errors in the 1982 1-cent coin include the 1982 double-die penny, copper and zinc types. This error happens when the coin's design is struck more than once, resulting in the doubling of letters and numbers. The most common areas for doubling on the 1982 penny are Liberty and In God We Trust. The doubling effect can be subtle, but if you find one of these coins in good condition, it could fetch a substantial price on the market. The 1982 no mint mark pennies, coins from the Philadelphia Mint, were struck without a mint mark, but in some cases, a rare no mint mark penny from the Denver Mint was accidentally produced. This error, while rare, can make a 1982 penny with no mint mark from Denver worth much more than the typical Philadelphia variety. The 1982 copper over zinc penny. This error occurs when a copper planchet is struck by the zinc penny dies, leading to a coin that has both copper and zinc characteristics. These coins are incredibly rare and extremely valuable if you can find one in great condition. Finding one of these rare error coins is like finding a needle in a haystack, but that's exactly what makes them so exciting for collectors. And when they do pop up, their value skyrockets. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1982 penny. As we mentioned earlier, most of the 1982 pennies are worth only a small amount above their face value, especially if they're in circulated condition. But if you've got one of the rare copper pennies from 1982 in pristine condition or one of the error coins, then you could be sitting on a real treasure. In particular, the 1982 double-die penny and the 1982 copper over zinc penny can fetch high prices at auction or from serious collectors. A well-preserved error coin could be worth thousands of dollars, but here's the big reveal: if you happen to own one of these rare, pristine error coins in top condition, it could be worth as much as $44,000. Yes, you read that right, $44,000 for a single penny, just because it has the right mint mark, composition, or error. It's hard to believe that something so small could be worth such a large amount of money, but that's the magic of coin collecting. So, if you've got a stash of 1982 pennies lying around, take a close look. You might just have a hidden gem worth thousands. And that's all for today's deep dive into the value of the United States 1-cent coin from 1982. We hope you learned something new and that you're now on the lookout for those rare pennies in your collection. Remember, the value of a coin is about so much more than its face value. It's about its history, rarity, and condition. Today, we've got a particularly exciting coin to discuss, the United States 1-cent coin from 1976. You might think of it as just another penny in your collection, but believe it or not, this small, seemingly ordinary coin could be worth much more than you think, potentially thousands of dollars. In this video, we'll explore the history, design, and unique features of the 1976 penny, as well as the role that the mint mark plays in determining its value. Stick around until the end because we'll be revealing just how much one of these pennies could actually be worth today. You won't want to miss it. Let's first take a step back in time and look at the year 1976. This was a monumental year in the United States. It marked the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To celebrate this significant occasion, the U.S. Mint issued a special coin series to commemorate the bicentennial of the nation. But here's the interesting part: while the quarter and half-dollar coins received a redesign to mark this event, the humble 1-cent coin, or penny, also had something special going on that year, though it might not be as widely known. Unlike other coins, the 1976 penny didn't get a complete redesign for the bicentennial, but it did feature a unique minting year, 1976, and that year, like every other year, saw pennies produced in different mint facilities, each with their own mint marks. Now, we know what you might be thinking: it's just a penny. How valuable could it be? Well, in the world of coin collecting, the value of a coin often goes far beyond its face value. The mint mark and any rare features such as errors or rare variations can significantly affect the price. The design of the 1976 1-cent coin remains quite similar to earlier pennies. On the obverse, front, of the coin, we see the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which has been featured on the penny since 1909. It's a design that has become synonymous with U.S. currency and is one of the most recognizable images in the world. On the reverse, back, we see the image of the Lincoln Memorial, which was designed by Frank Gasparo. This reverse design was introduced in 1959 and is another iconic symbol of the American spirit and history. But in 1976, it's not just the design that's important, it's the mint mark that tells us where the penny was produced. So let's take a closer look at the role of the mint mark and what it means for your 1976 penny. The mint mark on a coin is an important factor in determining its rarity and value. In 1976, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 main locations. Philadelphia. Pennies minted in Philadelphia typically don't have a mint mark, i.e., they are no mint mark. This is the most common type of 1976 penny you'll come across. Denver, D. Coins minted in Denver are marked with the letter D, and these are the second most common of the 1976 pennies. San Francisco, S. Coins struck at the San Francisco Mint have an S mint mark and are typically considered the most valuable for collectors, especially when in mint condition. While all 3 types of mint marks are important for collectors, there is one key feature that makes some of these 1976 pennies even more valuable, and that's errors. If you happen to find a 1976 penny with a minting mistake, you could be sitting on a rare treasure. In the world of coin collecting, mint errors are what can truly elevate a coin's value. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production of a coin, whether it's a mistake with the design, the strikes, or the materials used. For the 1976 1-cent coin, there are several potential errors that collectors are on the lookout for. Some of the most notable include 1976 double die penny. This error occurs when the die strikes the coin multiple times, causing the design to be doubled in some areas. This can be especially noticeable on inscriptions such as "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If you find a 1976 penny with a double die error, it can be worth much more than the standard coin. 1976 off-center penny. Another error that can occur is an off-center strike. When the die doesn't align properly, it can cause the coin's design to be shifted off to one side, creating an off-center image. These coins are highly sought after by collectors due to their rarity. 1976 wide rim or thin rim. Some 1976 pennies exhibit differences in the rim thickness, which may occur due to variations in the minting process. These types of errors can add value, especially if they are caught in uncirculated or near-perfect condition. 1976 clipped planchet penny. A clipped planchet error occurs when a penny is struck with a portion of its blank metal planchet missing, creating an incomplete coin. These errors can drastically increase the value of the coin, especially when found in good condition. When it comes to the value of any coin, condition is everything. A 1976 penny in uncirculated condition, meaning it looks almost brand new with sharp details and no visible wear, will obviously be worth more than a penny that's been through years of circulation. Coin grading is an important part of determining a coin's worth. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the best possible condition, perfectly uncirculated. A coin with a grade of MS 65 or higher is often considered to be in excellent condition, and the better the condition, the higher the value. If you have a well-preserved, error-free 1976 penny, then you're looking at something that can fetch a high price. However, if your coin has a rare minting error and is in pristine, uncirculated condition, then its value could be significantly more than you might expect. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal. If you happen to have a 1976 penny with the right mint mark, a rare minting error, and in perfect or near-perfect condition, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Are you ready? A well-preserved 1976 penny, especially one with a double die error or off-center strike, can be worth up to a staggering $47,000. Yes, you heard that right, $47,000 for a single 1976 penny. This is the kind of discovery that can make any coin collector's heart race. So, the next time you come across a 1976 penny, make sure to take a close look. It might just be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. That's it for today's deep dive into the United States 1-cent coin from 1976. We hope this video has helped you understand just how valuable a simple penny can be, and we're sure you'll be looking through your coin collection with a fresh eye from now on. Today, we've got a real treat for you, a United States 1-cent coin from 1980. Now, you may think of the 1980 penny as just another coin in your jar of spare change, but trust us when we say it could be worth far more than you expect. In fact, if you've got a rare variant or minting error, this seemingly ordinary penny could fetch a small fortune. So, if you've ever wondered how much your 1980 penny is really worth, or if you've got a stash of coins you haven't looked at in years, then stick with us. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes the 1981 cent coin so special, and how you could be holding a coin worth thousands of dollars. Let's rewind to 1980. The US was in the midst of a challenging decade, with inflation on the rise and the economy in a bit of a slump. Despite these economic hurdles, 1980 was an interesting year for US coinage because of a significant event, the minting of millions of 1-cent coins. At that time, the penny was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, just like it had been for decades. But even though these pennies were produced in vast quantities, rare errors or misprints began to pop up, errors that would eventually make certain 1980 pennies highly sought after by collectors. But here's the kicker: while most pennies from this year don't have much value beyond their face value of 1 cent, some special minting errors or variants can skyrocket in worth. So, what should you look for if you're hunting for a valuable 1980 penny? Let's dive into that. First, let's take a look at the design of the 1981 cent coin. On the obverse side, we have the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This image of Lincoln has been featured on the penny for over a century and remains one of the most recognizable coin designs in the world. On the reverse, we find the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo that has been on the reverse side of the penny since 1959. The image of the memorial symbolizes the strength and unity of the United States and is another iconic feature of the penny. While these two sides of the coin have remained fairly consistent for many years, it's the mint mark and the condition of the coin that could make a big difference in its value. The mint mark tells us where the coin was produced, whether it came from the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, or the San Francisco Mint. And this is where things get interesting. As with many other years, the 1980 penny was minted at 3 major locations. Philadelphia Mint. Pennies minted at Philadelphia usually do not have a mint mark. These are the no mint mark pennies, which are the most common. Denver Mint, D. Pennies produced at the Denver Mint will feature a D mint mark. These coins are also fairly common but can have some key features that make them valuable if they're in pristine condition or have an error. San Francisco Mint, S. The San Francisco Mint produced a limited number of proof pennies that were intended for collectors. These coins carry the S mint mark and are far rarer than their counterparts from the other mints. While the mint mark tells you the origin of the coin, the condition and rarity of the specific type of 1980 penny are what makes certain pieces more valuable. Now, let's get to the most exciting part of the video: what makes a 1980 penny worth thousands of dollars. In the world of coin collecting, minting errors are what drive the value of certain coins, and the 1980 penny is no exception. Here are a few of the most important errors and variants to look out for. 1. Double die penny. One of the most sought after errors is the double die penny. This occurs when the coin die strikes the planchet more than once, causing the image to be doubled in certain areas. Common spots for the doubling to appear are on the wording like Liberty and In God We Trust. If you find a 1980 double die penny, especially one in excellent condition, you could be looking at a coin that's worth far more than its face value. In some cases, these coins can sell for thousands of dollars depending on their condition and the quality of the error. 2. Off-center strikes. Another important error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet, the blank metal disc that gets struck by the die, is misaligned during the minting process. The result is a coin where the design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the penny blank. Off-center coins are popular among collectors, especially if they have a large amount of the coin's surface area blank. The rarer the error and the larger the shift, the higher the coin's potential value. Point 3. Clipped planchet. A clipped planchet occurs when a portion of the coin is missing due to the planchet being improperly fed into the press. The result is a coin with an irregular shape or missing a chunk of metal. These coins can be highly collectible and valuable, depending on the size and location of the clip. Point 4. Die cracks and cud. Sometimes, coins will show die cracks, tiny lines that form on the die due to wear and tear, which then transfer onto the coins. If the die crack is significant enough, it can cause the coin to have a raised line or even a cud, a raised lump of metal where part of the design is missing. These errors are usually more subtle, but die cracks and cuds on a 1980 penny can make it worth far more than its face value. In the world of coin collecting, condition is critical. A 1980 penny in uncirculated or mint condition will naturally fetch more than one that has been heavily circulated. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70 to determine a coin's condition. A coin that's been well preserved with sharp details, no wear, and no significant marks is considered to be an MS 65 or higher, which is a grade that commands a premium price in the marketplace. If you happen to have a 1980 penny in perfect, uncirculated condition with one of the rare minting errors mentioned above, it could be worth a significant amount of money. Now, here's the moment you've all been waiting for, the big reveal. If you happen to have a 1980 penny with one of those rare minting errors, or if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, you might be sitting on a coin worth far more than its face value. Are you ready? A well-preserved, rare error 1980 penny could be worth as much as $52,000. Yes, that's right. $52,000 for a single penny. If you've got a double die error penny, an off-center strike, or one of the other rare variants, you could be holding on to a small fortune. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the 1981 cent coin. We hope you've learned a thing or two about how these seemingly small, everyday coins can be worth far more than you ever imagined. So, the next time you come across a 1976 penny or any other rare find, make sure to give it a closer look. You might just be holding a coin worth thousands. Today's video, we've got an incredibly exciting discovery for you, the United States 1-cent coin from 1978. You may be thinking, it's just a penny, right? Well, you're about to be surprised. While most people toss their pennies into jars or change buckets without thinking twice, the truth is, that little 1-cent coin might actually be worth a small fortune, especially if it's one of those rare 1978 mint varieties or features a minting error. So, stick around as we dive deep into the history, the design, and the key features that could turn a 1978 penny into a collector's dream. And, of course, make sure to stay with us till the end, where we'll reveal just how much some of these pennies are actually worth today. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of mint marks and errors, let's take a moment to set the stage for 1978. The United States economy in the late 1970s was in a period of economic uncertainty. Inflation was on the rise, and the country was grappling with the effects of the oil crisis. Yet, amidst all this, the 1-cent coin, or penny, continued to serve its purpose in daily transactions. In 1978, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies, using the same design that had been in circulation for decades. Pennies were still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, just like they had been since the mid-19th century. But what makes the 1978 penny so special, you might ask? Well, it's not just the year, it's the mint mark and condition that can truly make a 1978 penny a highly valuable find. Whether it was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, the coin's value varies depending on a number of factors. Plus, as we'll see, some of these pennies have rare minting errors that could significantly boost their worth. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1978 1-cent coin. The obverse, front, features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This portrait of Lincoln has been on the penny for over a century and is one of the most recognized and beloved coin designs in history. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which has graced the back of the penny since 1959. This design, created by Frank Gasparo, depicts the famous memorial in Washington, D.C., and is a symbol of American history and unity. But here's the kicker: while these designs remain the same in 1978 as they had been for decades, the minting process and the mint marks are what really set certain coins apart from others. So, how can you tell if your 1978 penny is worth more than just a cent? The key lies in the mint mark, which tells you where the coin was made. In 1978, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark. Coins struck in Philadelphia typically do not have a mint mark, making them the most common type of 1978 penny. These are known as no mint mark pennies. Denver, D. Pennies produced in Denver have a D mint mark. While these are also fairly common, they can sometimes be more valuable if they're in uncirculated condition or have unique errors. San Francisco, S. The San Francisco Mint struck a smaller number of proof pennies in 1978, and these coins are typically more valuable due to their limited mintage. These proof pennies are struck with higher quality dies and are made specifically for collectors. They carry the S mint mark, but as we all know in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about where the coin was minted, it's about the condition and whether there are any rare minting errors. One of the things that makes certain 1978 pennies so valuable is the potential for minting errors. When something goes wrong during the minting process, the coin can turn out to be a rare anomaly that collectors are eager to get their hands on. Here are some of the most important errors to look out for in the 1978 penny. 1. Double die penny. The double die error is one of the most popular and valuable minting errors. It occurs when the coin die strikes the planchet, the metal disc used to make the coin, more than once, causing the design to appear doubled. The doubling is most noticeable on inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If you find a 1978 double die penny, especially one in uncirculated condition, you could have a coin that is worth significantly more than its face value. 2. Off-center strike. Another error to watch out for is the off-center strike, which happens when the planchet isn't aligned correctly in the press. As a result, the design is shifted off to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. The more off-center the coin is, the more valuable it tends to be, especially if the error is severe enough to make the coin visually interesting. 3. Clipped planchet error. A clipped planchet happens when a piece of the planchet is missing during the minting process. This creates an irregularly shaped coin, with part of the coin missing. Clipped planchets are rare and highly desirable among collectors, so if you find a 1978 penny with this error, you could be holding onto a treasure. 4. Die cracks and cuds. Sometimes, coins can have die cracks, tiny fissures that form in the minting die. These cracks can show up on the coins themselves as raised lines, and in some cases, they can form cuds, a lump of metal that appears on the coin due to a missing or broken part of the die. Coins with die cracks or cuds are less common, and they tend to attract attention from error coin collectors. 5. Wrong planchet. In rare cases, a penny might be struck on the wrong type of planchet entirely, one intended for a different coin. If you come across a 1978 penny struck on a dime or quarter planchet, that could be a very valuable mistake. When it comes to value, condition is key. A 1978 penny that has been well preserved and is in uncirculated condition will always be worth more than a heavily worn coin. Coin collectors and investors always pay a premium for coins that look like they've just been minted, with sharp details, no visible wear, and no major blemishes. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the highest grade, a perfect coin. Pennies that are graded MS 65 or higher are considered to be in excellent or gem uncirculated condition, and those coins are often worth much more than a regular 1978 penny. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: how much is a 1978 penny really worth? If you've got a 1978 penny in mint condition, especially one that's been struck with a rare minting error, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Are you ready? Here's the big reveal: a 1978 penny, especially one with a rare minting error or in pristine condition, could be worth as much as $58,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $58,000 for a single 1978 penny. This is the kind of coin that makes collectors and investors sit up and pay attention. So, next time you find a 1978 penny in your collection, make sure to give it a closer look. You never know what treasures might be hiding there. And that wraps up our deep dive into the 1978 1-cent coin. We hope you found this video helpful and that it's given you a fresh perspective on the value of those everyday pennies. If you've got a stash of old coins lying around, now's the time to take a closer look. You might just find a $58,000 treasure. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more exciting coin discoveries.